In today's video, I'm going to answer all the questions you've asked me on my Instagram stories. So I'm just going to do an Instagram Q&A. The first question is how to avoid people who give mental problems to us. Somebody else is giving you mental problems, or you are giving yourself mental problems. Because we often get this thing wrong. We just say like, I'm sad because of that person, or that person spoke like this, that is why he hurt me, or somebody did this to me and that's why I'm like this. So before we start on this topic more further, understand something very clear. Physically, somebody else can hurt us, but mentally, emotionally, nobody else can hurt us, because nobody can get into and hurt us at all. So when you strongly believe that somebody else is doing something to you and that is causing you problem, then you want the other person to change or other person to give some solution, so which is not going to happen at all. It's your mind, your body, you have to take charge of yourself. So basically what I'm trying to say is, the other person is not giving you mental torture, but it is you who is giving yourself mental torture by constantly thinking about it and thinking how the other person has to behave and why aren't they behaving properly, and since they are not behaving properly, they are hurting you, and so they are giving you mental torture. So if you keep doing like this, your entire life is going to be a blame game, and entire life is going to be a victim kind of life, wherein like, that person is not treating me right, this person is not treating me right, this person is not talking properly with me, or they didn't understand what I'm trying to say. All of it is going to be a blame game. Mentally, nobody can hurt, because that is all caused by ourselves, by thinking constantly too much. If you have a control over your mind, or if you have a control over how your thoughts are processing, then you will exactly know that all the thoughts are just created by us and us only. Nobody can create any thought within our head. It's us who create thought. Maybe the external person, the person outside of us, maybe can be a stimuli for it, or can be a person who can initiate certain things, but still the actual thought is being created by our own self and not by the other person. Nobody from outside can cause me emotional pain or mental pain or anything, emotionally or internally. Everything is caused by myself, everything is caused by ourselves. The minute you get the perspective straight, you will be in charge of your mind, and you can control it, and you can change your thoughts and become happy. So you don't really have to avoid anybody else at all. Because if you think that, I have to avoid this person, I have to avoid that person, that means you really have to avoid yourself. It's your mind that keeps making thoughts like that. You cannot avoid yourself, but that is what is exactly happening. You're avoiding yourself and putting so much importance on some thought, that is a random thought that is going in your mind, and not taking enough care of the body or the mind or the life that is you. Stop giving priorities to some trivial thought and try to look at your mind and body that is constantly working for you, and make it work only for you and not against you. Emotionally, mentally, nobody can hurt us. Stop the thought right then and there and just go on. Avoid the other person and see what exactly you want to do in life and go ahead of it. How many people can we avoid? Like, you cannot avoid your own mom or dad. So there are certain people whom you can just avoid. Like if it's a friend, or if somebody else, or somebody whom you just met, you can just avoid the person, never look into the face. But what if the person is your child or your mom or dad? You cannot avoid these people who are like very important to your life. So avoiding everybody is not a good idea, but changing your perspective is a good idea. And to know how to change the perspective, you need to get the right knowledge that only you can cause yourself emotional pain and not the other person. Once you completely realize this knowledge from within, then you know all the thing is in your hands, and you can just change your thoughts, and you can just convert yourself, so you will not have mental torture. How to stop being sad when the person who is close to you or dear to you is thinking bad about you? Just stop for a second. So you just think your parents or whoever that be is, you're being sad thinking that your parents are thinking bad about you. Your parents are already thinking bad about you, and you're thinking what your parents are thinking, and you are thinking that they are thinking bad about you and making yourself sad. So can you just see how many thinking I use in this particular sentence? How many thoughts, how many thinking is involved to get yourself entangled like this? Leave all these thinkings, okay? Your life is not dependent on what other person is thinking about you. Thinking itself is waste, because thinking itself meaning just thoughts, and thoughts are basically useless. They are not really good for anybody else in life at all, because thoughts are basically baseless ideas that keeps replaying in the head, which is of no use. Mind has to be good for us. It has to make us feel good. If it is not making us feel good, then the device is wrong. So how to fix your device is by stop thinking, stop letting it play all the negative stuff into you. Stop thinking at the first place, because thinking it's gonna do no good for anybody, because we cannot live in assumption that somebody else is thinking about it and that is why I'm like this and being sad. See, life is very, very short. We have a very little duration. I mean, we might feel like we are going to live for a long time. We never know how long we are going to live. Very little time that we are going to be here. Let's not complicate ourselves by thinking what other person is thinking and then thinking that they are thinking bad, and then you are making yourself sad by thinking that they are thinking bad. These thoughts are something that is totally opposite of life. Thoughts are something that takes you away from life. So if you want to know your real life, you need to stop the thoughts, because thoughts are something that's created by ourselves, by the impressions that we take from the outside, or the people we are with, or the things that we see, or the things that we eat and things that we drink. So thoughts are basically something that has been collected from outside. Instead of putting all the time and energy on thinking all of these thoughts that is going to take us away from life, let's use it for what real life is and what we have to do to enhance our own life. We'll just look at ourselves and try to do it, put our mind and head to good use and not to something negative and a cyclic wave that will entangle us and torture us even more from within and not give us any kind of peace. Do what is essential. Understand how the mind and body works. If you don't understand how the mind and body works, there's no point of having a device when you don't even know how to use it. For example, if you don't know how to drive a car, you shouldn't be sitting in the car and driving fast. But unfortunately, all of us are doing that only. Just because the car moves doesn't mean that we know how to drive. Accidentally, the car is moving. The car can get into an accident also like that. And we are going through many accidents every single day by making ourselves sad, by making ourselves putting into misery, by making ourselves having all the thoughts that will drag us down. The ideal life has to be like this, we should know how to drive a car and then sit in the car. But unfortunately, how our life has become, somebody has already put us in the car and they've pushed the car also. So we've already started driving it without even knowing how to drive. So at least now let's be aware that we don't know to drive the car. So let's try to stop the car, understand how it drives, learn how it drives, and then restart driving or resume driving. So that is all that can be done. Learn how the body and the mind works and then start reliving your life again and not go to the same thought pattern. The next question somebody has asked me is, what gives you peace or what brings you peace and why? The question is an amazing question, but the question can be put another way. What takes us away from our peace? Okay, it's not like what gives you peace, because we are peaceful beings. The point is not what brings me peace, what takes my peace away, because peace is the natural way of our life, and the peace is what is our life is all completely made of. Because whatever you go through, whatever stuff that happens in our life and whatever we go through, we still tend to breathe. Breathing continuously happens, because the time the breathing stops, then there's no life. And whatever happens, the heart still beats. Whether something good is happening, something bad is happening, something too much negative is happening, still the heart is beating. So maybe it might not be beating at the optimal level or the perfect way it is supposed to be beating, but still it does its work. What we have created and done to ourselves is having all these ideas and thoughts within us, and thoughts that's created by the world and some thoughts that's created by ourselves, that this is all what will give me happiness, and the thought of pursuing it takes us away from the real peaceful being. If I just don't entangle myself with my own thoughts, with my own head, and if I don't entangle myself with other people around me, then I am peaceful. If I don't entangle with other people's energy, automatically I am peaceful. Is it like I am creating situations for me that is taken away from my peace, or I have to create situations for me to get to peace? So the answer is, I am creating situations that will take me away from peace. Whole idea of spirituality lies in this. Happiness and peace are totally confused word. Happiness is basically a sense of satisfaction that is derived when we attain some kind of achievement, or when we fulfill our ambition, or we fulfill our desires. It can be anything, to buying a clothing, or to buying a bag, or to buying a house, or to buying some electronic gadget, or to having a certain kind of job, or having a certain kind of partner. Anything, all of this can be like desire and ambition and whatever that is. All of these ideas is what will take us away from peace, because we think that we need this, and when that thing doesn't happen to us, automatically we lose our peace and then we become sad. Or to make ourselves live in the world, we need certain kind of money, we need a safe place to stay, and we need 2 times of nutritious healthy food for us to be healthy, and some fresh air and pure water to drink. It's all the basic things of it, and to get this, we have to do some work to get all of this. That's it. Anything beyond this is going to take us away from peace. What we think that we want is not actually we want. We think that this is what is going to give us happiness, and we are just going away from it because we confuse happiness and peace. To be able to sit like this and to talk, I need to be peaceful. Peace is a basic thing of life. It's not something to live and achieve later on. It is the basics of life. It is something that is required to start our life to any other direction possible. When you have cold, when the nose are completely blocked and you're not able to breathe at all, that time you'll know just having a nose that can breathe in and breathe out comfortably without struggle is the most peaceful thing in the world. Yes or no? So basically it's all there already, but we are just looking it in the wrong direction. If the nose blocks, then we know if we can breathe, that is peaceful. If head pains, then we know if the head is not paining, that is peaceful. So why don't you acknowledge that when your head is not paining and when your nose is not blocked, when other things are fine in your life, why can't you consider that as peaceful? Instead, why do you want to look at something else? Because only when the problem comes, we know that without the problem, life is peaceful. And who's creating the problem? It's just us. Until 2018, May 27th, I was going through all sorts of crap in life, and to a point that I almost thought of, ending my life only. But then now here I am being very, very peaceful. However, the situation outside, be it is not going to determine my state of mind, because my state of mind is in my hand. What the situation is, it happens. Whatever have to be done for the situation, we can do it. But what happens within me, it's completely in my control, and the knowledge is perfect. Like the way heart beats no matter what we do or how the situation is. Life happens no matter what we do or what the situation is. So understand the value of life. Let's not entangle ourselves in all these trivial things. Let's put our brain and body to something that takes us to somewhere, to the real meaning of life, to advance ourselves into real meaning of life, and not take diversion and go to a point where we keep hitting ourselves and putting the car into dent. Let's stop our cars for a minute. Let's understand, let's learn how to use the car, and then let's start driving. Let's stop the patterns of the thinking, our thoughts and everything, and let's try to understand how the body and mind works, and then knowing it, we can start living. I still have a couple of more questions which I'll be answering you guys in next video. Let me know if this video was really useful or not, because I'd really love to know from you. But to help you girls in some way that that can better our life, because we've been entangled so much by ourselves and by the society and by the people around us a lot, and it's high time we understand it's all a trap and start living our life and not getting entangled into all of these things. So I want to make this video as useful as possible and as helpful as possible to all you girls out there. If you have any other question to ask me, please leave it on the comments below, or if you're not able to leave it on the comments below, you can DM me directly on my Instagram, and come back to my channel again next week with a brand new video. Until then, it's your girl Aditi signing off. Take care. Bye bye.
If you want to constantly stay in touch with me apart from YouTube, follow me on my Instagram at AdityIyer. My Instagram username is given here, just follow me there. Do not forget to hit the bell icon while you're subscribing to my channel, so you can watch all my videos directly on your inbox with just one click, and it's absolutely free. One of the circle is for this current channel and the other circle is for my second channel. Take a second to hit on those circles. You're going to get instantly subscribed to my channel for free, so that you can get all my videos directly onto your phone. Thank you so much for staying in on. Bye.